Welcome back to the second part of the series here, the second part of December first week's Prelims Mastery. I hope in the first part you did quite well. I hope that, and without much delay, let's continue with the questions here. Okay, let's start with the 11th question. All right. Which of the following statements are correct? Nirbhaya fund to be used to develop infrastructure and technology for women's safety. Home Ministry is the nodal agency for the fund. What do you think? Pause the video and think about this. All right, let's check the answer. It says A, one only. Nirbhaya fund to be used to develop infrastructure and technology for women's safety. That is very right. But however, Home Ministry is not the nodal agency for the fund. The nodal agency here is Women and Child Development Ministry. So please understand. And this was in news recently because much of the Nirbhaya fund has been kept unutilized. They haven't used Nirbhaya fund. So this was in news recently. Okay. Next one. Which of the following statements are correct? White dwarf is the initial stage of the star. A star becomes a black hole at the end if it has a mass lesser than 8 times the mass of our sun. So which of the following statements are correct related to science and technology? Okay, so let's see. All right, it says neither of these statements are correct. Yes, white dwarf is not the initial stage of the star. It is the final stage of the star. Okay, a star becomes a black hole at the end if it has a huge mass, a very big mass. Okay, now it will either, a star at the end will either become a white dwarf or a black hole or a neutron star based on its mass. If it has a huge mass at the end of its fusion process, at the end of its life, what it will happen, it will actually drop down or condense down to its own gravity and kind of become a neutron or a black hole, a neutron star or a black hole. However, if the mass of the star after its fusion process is done, after its life is over, if its mass is lesser than 8 times the mass of our sun, in that case, it will become a white dwarf. And this very mechanism, that, it should be lesser than 8 times the mass of our sun, this very theory here was put forth by Chandrasekhar, Professor Chandrasekhar, and this is called as Chandrasekhar's limit. Okay, so please remember this. Let's go to the next one. As per the recent changes in corporate tax, which of the following statements are correct? The corporate tax for existing companies has been reduced to 15%. For new manufacturing units, it's increased to 22%. So for existing, it is reduced to 15%, and for the new manufacturing units, it is increased to 22%. That's what the first statement says. The second says this reform will help increase Indian investment in foreign destinations. So what do you think? Which of these statements are correct here? D, neither. The first statement is wrong. For existing companies, it has been reduced to 22%, and for the new companies, manufacturing units, it will be reduced to 15%. So there is only a reduction which has happened. There is no increase as such. Okay, and the reduction is more for new companies. Now, why it has been done? It has been done to kind of give a push to entrepreneurial ventures here in India, so that more investment can happen inside India. Hence, the second statement is wrong. It is not increasing Indian investment in foreign destinations. It is about increasing investment inside India, domestic investment. It also attracts foreign investors to India because we are one of the nations with the least corporate tax now in the Asian region. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Okay, 14th one. Which of the following statements are correct? Narsimhan Committee and Leeladhar Committee has recommended amalgamation of banks. Second says Basel Committee is an international committee and helps in supervision of banks. Which of these are right? Both. Both are right here. This was in news, because of the discussion going on about the amalgamation of banks. So that if banks are amalgamated, then, banks would be in a better position to lend and control NPAs. Okay, that is non-performing assets. Let's go to the next one. 15th. Which of the following statements are true about dart plantation? Yeah, what is dart plantation? Let's check. It's a new agricultural method from Israel. It is normally used on lands which are easily accessible for plantations. The process involves throwing darts containing seeds onto open grounds. Which of the following statements are true? Let's check. It says C, 3 only. Yes, it is not agricultural method from Israel. That's a wrong statement. And it is normally used on lands which are not easily accessible, which are very difficult to access. Okay, only there, the darts will be filled with seeds and they will be kind of thrown there, so that when it lands on the ground, it can sprout from there, because usually it is quite inaccessible. We can't go there and kind of dig the mud and put the seeds there. Okay, so this is one of the processes which are used to actually give impetus to afforestation. All right, the next one. Which of the following is true about GST compensation cess? Okay, now the first option says it is appropriated to destination states. It is appropriated to producer states. It is for the central government to be used as a capital investment, and D says all are incorrect. So what do you think? Let's check. Okay, it says B, it is appropriated to producer states. So please understand, GST is a destination based tax. What do you mean by this? Now, if state A manufactures some goods, it can take it to state B and sell it there. The producers can take it to state B and sell it there. And the GST which is applied there is actually appropriated by state B and not state A. So state A doesn't get any tax benefit here. I mean, they don't get any tax. The state GST is actually taken away by the state B. So to compensate for that, state A is made available a kind of cess. That is, the customer who buys those goods, he should pay the state GST, central GST, and top of that you also have to pay the cess, and that cess amount goes to the producer state, that is state A in this case. And this is only for 5 years, so that the producers and the sellers get used to this new economical structure. Okay, the next one. Increase in repo rate leads to what? Increase in inflation, increase in savings, increase in private investments, or it leads to all of the above. All are correct here. What do you think about this? Let's check. The answer is B, increase in savings. When there is an increase in repo rate is nothing but the short-term interest which the RBI gives to banks. Okay, when the banks take the the loan here, short-term loan from RBI on a higher repo rate, the same is transmitted to the bank interest rates. Okay, so whoever would go to the bank to take loan, even the interest to at which the bank would give him the loan will also be higher. So in this case, there will be no private investments as such. People will not take loan, neither they'll put out for investment, maybe buying of lands or whatever it may be. Okay, and at the same time, when they don't go out to buy things, the price of the goods they low down. Why is that? Because of the fall in demand. So when you don't go out to buy something, there will be fall in demand, and because of fall in demand, there will be fall in price. So therefore there is no increase in inflation, but therefore there is reduction in inflation. So the only option left here, increase in savings. Why increase in savings? Because of the higher bank rate, even the bank would want to attract people to deposit money in their bank, and they would actually give them higher interest here. Okay, so therefore option B is the right option. The next one. Which of the following statements are correct? Core inflation is the change in the costs of goods and services excluding food and energy. It is calculated using CPI, that is Consumer Price Index. So what do you think? Let's check. It says both. C, both. That is, both the statements are right. So please understand what is core inflation and what is the ordinary inflation. Core inflation, it actually assumes or calculates or considers all the goods except food and energy. Food and energy are quite volatile. You never know when the price of the energy or the food might go high or low. So that is the reason they are excluded, and hence the resultant the number here is the core inflation. The next one. Match the following: blue water navy, brown water navy, green water navy, at the left and at the right, a navy which has capacity to project itself over a very large maritime area, a navy whose operations are restricted to the shores, a navy whose operations goes a bit beyond the shores. So, can you match these? Alright, let's check. What is the answer? The answer is A, 1A, 2B, 3C. So the first one, blue water navy, is a navy which has capacity to project itself over a very large maritime area. Okay, now if we are going beyond our shores and much beyond that into the international waters, and if we are able to project ourselves over there, then we are called blue water navy. Now recently Mr. Rajnath Singh, the defense minister, proclaimed our Indian navy to be a blue water navy, hence this was in news. Brown water navy, a navy whose operations are restricted to the shores. Now shore waters are quite brown, because of its closeness to the continental the border area, so hence it is called as brown water navy. Green water navy, it is a bit much beyond shores, but not into the international waters. It's not deeper into the sea, it is just beyond the shores here. Okay, so the next one. All right, 20th, the last question of this part here. I hope even in this part you would have scored maximum out of these 10 questions. So let's see if you can score the 10th one, the 20th one also. As recently seen in news, Yellow Vest movement was seen in which place? So where was this Yellow Vest movement seen? Is it France, China, Belgium, England? Where this movement happening or happened? Let's check. The answer is A, France. Yes. This Yellow Vest movement happened in France. This was kind of a protest against the government because of injustice, basically economical injustice. Okay, so the people actually gathered there and they were protesting against the France government. Many of you would have thought it as China because of the recent Hong Kong thing. No, it's not China. That is umbrella movement, okay, or umbrella protest. All right, this is the Yellow Vest movement. Please understand. So here we are with the end of 10 questions in the part 2. I hope you have done well. Do not forget again to leave in the comment section. I want to know how much you are able to score. Is it very difficult for you guys, or is it like okay, doable kind of a thing? I want to know whether you are getting some confidence by solving these MCQs. I want to know whether the work I've been putting here is really helping you or not. So if I wouldn't know, then I wouldn't be able to improve here, right? So I would really appreciate if you can let me know about how you think about these MCQs. And do not forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that. Tomorrow we'll catch up with the last 10 questions, that is from 21 to 30, and we'll end the Prelims Mastery for the first week of the December tomorrow. Okay? See you tomorrow. Take care. All the best.